Ravensfall by Claire Casey. Chapter 1. The spring rain fell on the harbour, slicking the cobbles under their feet. The gulls hung in the air, calling to each other as they waited for any opportunity to steal food that had been left unguarded. Looking up at them, Gardner remembered his grandmother telling him stories about those birds. She believed with every fibre of her being that the gulls were the souls of those who had been lost at sea. She'd always told him that because their bodies had never been given a proper burial, they would continue to haunt the living as gulls. His grandmother had been a fisherwife, and her stories had always been of sea lore. She had warned him of selkies and kelpies. She would fill his head with tales of how they would use their powers to entice humans to do their bidding, or they would lead unsuspecting humans to their deaths. She had also whispered that some selkies had betrayed their own kind. They had willingly given up their selkie coats and chosen to live amongst the people of the land. Once they had made their choice, they would never return to the sea. Their coats would be locked away to stop the selkies from being tempted back to what had once been their lives. There was one family who had lived nearby whose grandmother claimed were descended from selkies. Everyone in the village avoided that family, certain that dark magic flowed through their veins. Shaking those memories from his thoughts, Gardner looked at those who had joined him at the dock. He watched them all closely while keeping his distance. Some of them who stood nearby had fought at his side while in the pay of Alger. The others were those who hadn't long met him, but had found themselves in a similar position. There were some familiar faces missing from the crowd of mercenaries. Some of those who had fought at his side had decided to remain in Arla. They were certain that there would always be people looking for mercenaries and professional fighters. There was always someone looking for others to fight and kill for them, even if they had to pay for the service. Gardner was sure that those who had chosen to remain in Arla were all now drinking and hoarding away the money they still had. What would happen to them after that was no longer his concern. They would not be missed. In fact, they'd already been replaced. There would always be those who were willing to fight for glory and for riches, even if it meant having to go to foreign shores to do so. As they watched other mercenaries, the cold sea wind forced many of them to huddle together. All of them gave furtive looks towards the horizon as they waited for word that their ship was ready to be boarded. Many of them would never have seen a ship before. Even if they had, they would never have left Arlene waters. Turning his attention away from his travelling companions, Gardner watched the hustle and bustle that surrounded them. The harbour of Westhaven was filled to bursting with people selling their wares, mostly fresh fish that was straight off the boats. Prostitutes did their best to entice people away to where it would be quieter, with fewer prying eyes. The taverns and inns always did a roaring trade, especially when the boats came in. Fishermen were always thirsty, especially after being at sea all night. "How long do you think they're going to be?" someone asked. "It can't take this fucking long to get a boat sorted." "No idea," someone else answered. "But they've been at it all fucking day." "They're probably wanting us to pay them more. They're probably wanting us to bribe them just to get them to hurry up," came another comment. "If that's their game, they're not getting another penny from me. I can assure you of that," came the response from somewhere else in the group. Ignoring them the best he could, Gardner continued to study what he could see of Westhaven. The street snaked her way up the hillside that rose up from the seashore. The streets of the town were narrow, twisting and steep, especially the further away from the harbour they were.